Saturday, Shudder Saturday!
For this episode of Shudder Saturday, we're going to be talking about the Brazilian independent slasher supernatural horror film, The Skull. I'm going to give you a simplified version of what this movie is about. There's a skull mask, and basically whoever wears it gets possessed, and they become a supernatural slasher. And that's the simplest way I can put it. It's kind of like the horror movie version of the movie The Mask with Jim Carrey. Except there's no singing, no dancing, no funny gags here and there. This film is gory. It's a gore fest. It is literally a supernatural slasher movie. This movie is Brazilian and it is subtitled, so there's a few things here and there that I missed when I was reading it. So I might be missing some subplots that are involved in this movie, so I apologize. But basically, this movie is a slasher film. This film is very old school looking and very raw. It has almost like that 70s, 80s kind of slasher vibe to it. It has a Dario Argento kind of vibe to it just because of the color and the cinematography that's being used in the film. Because it does look pretty cool and all the colors that they use. It just kind of reminded me of that earlier Dario Argento kind of vibe. And this mask is not attached to somebody. It kind of crawls around like a spider. And when it finally does attach itself to a person, it takes over their body. And basically the person becomes a supernatural being, almost like a Jason Voorhees with some extra things added to it. The guy that is portraying the guy that's wearing the skull mask does move around a lot like Kane Hodder. So that's why I kind of was comparing it to a Jason Voorhees. So when you see the guy's movements, you'll know what I'm talking about. When the film opens up, you're almost thinking like, is this film made from the 1970s or the 1980s? Because it definitely captures that vibe very well. I'm pretty sure it was made more recently than that, but they definitely capture the 70s and 80s vibe. It has that very indie look to it. So I think if you're into old retro horror films, you'll definitely appreciate this. And if you're into those old kind of like Italian films where they kind of don't make a lot of sense or you feel like there's something's missing in the film, however, you're still entertained with all the gore and the cinematography, you'll definitely enjoy this film. There is a subplot with some police officers. However, I missed maybe like a couple of paragraphs, so I kind of missed that part of the story, so I apologize. However, if you're just going off the gore and the slasher supernatural fact of the movie, you'll definitely enjoy it. So if you feel like watching a supernatural slasher horror film and you don't feel like going to the movies, definitely check out The Skull, which is available now on the Shudder channel. Hopefully you like what you see here. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'm Mike the Movie Misfit, and I'll see you at the movies.
Get more out of life. Go out to a movie.